Radio Rahim with one time. Keith Thurman here in New York, man. One more time. We're at it again. I was sitting right by the walkway when you came in, and the energy that you brought into the room, I even made eye contact with you, and I haven't felt that from you in years, literally years, man. What's the difference between Keith Thurman that showed up today and the Keith Thurman that's, we've been seeing the last couple of years?
I truly believe that this is the start of my legacy by finishing a legend. If you remember years ago, I said that there's multiple ways of becoming a legend in the sport of boxing. And one way is by taking out a legend. And at that time, I was talking about Floyd Mayweather. I forget who his opponent was. It could have been even like a Marcos Maidana. It could have been one of the Marcos Maidana fights before even the Berto fights, before the Pacquiao fight. Whoever beats Floyd Mayweather, which never happened, would become legend overnight, regardless of what their record once was, right? No matter how many losses they had. Maidana's been beat when he fought Floyd, but he put on a tremendous fight in the first fight, and he got clearly outboxed in the second fight. For me, you either take a legend out of the game and let that be the start of your legacy, or if you don't have any legends to defeat, then you must just beat everybody in the welterweight division. And in that process, when you clear out the welterweight division, that in itself is what creates a legend. So you either have to do it from the ground up or take someone from the top and put them back down, And Manny Pacquiao, he's had his ups and downs, but he still is Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. He still has a tremendous fan base. He still has the willingness to fight and compete against young undefeated champions like myself, and it's admirable. I respect that. But like I said, I believe his last fight against Adrian Broner, too much round by round, went his way. July 20th, it will not go the way Manny Pacquiao wants it to go.
Now, you're a younger fighter by 10 years. That's significant in boxing. But as we all know, the cliche is styles make fights. Pacquiao looked very good against Broner. He's a southpaw, which you've had some troubles with before. He's quick, and he has more experience probably than any other fighter at 47, period. What does Keith Thurman need to do to best a legend like Manny Pacquiao with the assets that he brings? I mean, you said yourself the Josito Lopez was a tune-up. It wasn't your best performance. You're going to have to step it up in a real way to get Pacquiao out the way you talk about. What do you have to do?
Well, that's why we hired 2 professional trainers. We are just going to be prepared for this fight in a way that we've never been prepared before. And also, I want to prepare myself, not just for this fight, but after this fight, in preparation for the rest of the welterweight division. I need to be my best, not just for this fight, but for this fight and for the rest of my career. I want to perform at my highest caliber because I believe in myself, and I know that Keith "One-Time" Thurman is the number one welterweight in the welterweight division today. Sean Porter been beat. Danny Garcia been beaten, but we still have undefeated champions in the welterweight division, and that is to come. Before that, we have this great honor of sharing the ring with Manny Pacquiao, and I just want to also showcase my skills and my talent to the Filipino boxing fans. Once when Pacquiao's done, they're not done watching boxing because he made them love our sport. He brought a whole country into the beautiful sport of boxing. They love boxing. They have inspiring boxers right now in the Philippines that want to follow in the footsteps of Manny Pacquiao and become champions of the world. So when Manny is done, they're still going to be watching boxing, and hopefully they're watching your boy Keith "One-Time" Thurman. It's
refreshing to me, and I'm certain everybody watching, to hear you talk about clearing out the 47 division. Obviously, we were all waiting for that Game of Thrones, if you will, at the top of the division. Even though Pacquiao is Pacquiao, many will see and comment on this as just a way to not fight Spence. How do you respond to those who are saying it doesn't matter unless it's Spence? You're a champion. There's belt holders at this division. Nothing matters until you're fighting other champions.
Well, at the end of the day, Manny Pacquiao is a champion. He's not an undefeated champion like Errol Spence. Errol Spence is in negotiations with Sean Porter, from what it seems like, to unify the IBF with the WBC. I had to let go of the WBC. Nobody beat me for the WBC. I vacated that. So it's a gift for Errol Spence to be able to go through Sean Porter to take that belt. Ultimately, there needs to be one champion. We're all too young. We got too much going in the sport of boxing. I have to take it one fight at a time. This is the biggest fight of my career. I believe that Errol Spence is like Oscar De La Hoya versus Tito Trinidad, Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence. You know, this is when they're in their prime, when they're both at the top of the sport, you know. But for now, and I told everybody, I'm not fighting Spence this year, you know. So as soon as I had a mic in my face, I said, might as well not talk about that. I'm letting you know. At least I'm honest. You know what I mean? I could say, well, yeah, you know, I want this, I want that. I told you what I want. I want to get back this year. I want to get back, and I got one of the greatest fights of my career. So I obviously took the approach to accept this fight. And after this fight, we will move on and get back in the ring with these young bucks.
And lastly, when people talk about the best in the 47 division, pound for pound, it used to be Thurman and everybody else. Now they're talking Spence and Crawford. Honestly, most of the time, they don't even mention you. How does that make you feel? Is it fair? And of those two guys, who's the greater challenge for you?
You know, it's annoying, you know, but it's what happens with inactivity, right? Are they really going to call me the #1 welterweight in the world with 22 months of inactivity when they're watching these young fighters like Errol Spence and they're watching Terrence Crawford continuously compete and be victorious and continuously rise up? Where does Keith Thurman belong? You know, it's not my job to debate. It's not my job to write articles, you know. I let everybody else do that. I know I'm at the top. I'm at the top for a reason. I've always been at the top for the reason. I'm undefeated. Nobody's taking me out of my position. I don't believe Spence will. I don't believe Crawford will. You said who is the greater challenger. I believe Errol Spence is, because he's a true welterweight in the welterweight division. Terrence Crawford is a tremendous fighter, but he still hasn't fought a real welterweight in my eyes. You know, he had a great performance in his last fight, but there's still more to come. I'm really looking forward to the Sean Porter Spence fight, and also whoever Danny signs a contract against next as well. We have a lot of great fighters in this welterweight division, and like I said, come July 20th, right?
Right.
Manny Pacquiao, he's going to be a full-time senator in the Philippines. You will only hear Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Danny Garcia. This is boxing. We are in a new generation.
Keith Thurman, thank you so much, not just for the interview, but for taking this fight and doing it as soon as you did after the Josecito Lopez fight, one of the top 147-pound fighters in the world. It's a pleasure to watch you work. Can't wait to see you on July 20th against Manny Pacquiao at the MGM Grand Arena. Radio Rahim with Keith, one-time Thurman.